Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today's a pretty basic week with a few new game announcements and updates, including a highly anticipated new military sim. A staple in the VR industry finally got its 1.0 release, and there's also major updates to VR's most popular physics-based fighting game, and one of my favorite VR RPGs. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but let's just start things off like normal with the check-in. So for those new to the channel, the check-in is where I let you know what I've been up to in the VR world, and lately it's been kinda dull. I jump into Forefront a lot, we've been jumping back into Battlemarked, two great games, love them. Besides that, I've been doing some sim racing, I've showed that off, not much else going on here, not much tech, it's just business as usual. It's summer, it's hot, no one wants to be jumping around in VR right now. But I will keep you guys up to date. The killer that I will be discussing at the end of this video is the fact that VR feels so down, like more down than ever. 2026 has been my worst VR year yet, but we'll get into that later. For now, let's move into this week's new releases. Okay, so it's definitely not a huge week for new releases, but the absolute classic title, Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades, has finally given us a full 1.0 release after many years in early access. Now, if you're not familiar with H3, it is the hot dog killing simulator with easily some of VR's best gun handling mechanics. This title has an absolute cult following, and it's about time we got that full release because H3 2 is currently in development, and I'm absolutely pumped to give that one a try. Now, speaking of being pumped, the new military sim Geronimo is also dropping in early access this week. Designed to simulate modern combat, Geronimo is an immersive tactical CQB shooter that has you teaming up in squads of 6. There's an in-depth customization system, detailed gun mechanics, and highly realistic combat that will rely on proper communication. Now, I'm definitely interested in giving this one a try, so let me know down in the comments right now if you guys want me to cover the early access release, or maybe even just stream a little bit of this game. Now, unfortunately, that's all we have in terms of new releases, but if you're not interested in picking up any new games, we have some massive updates for Legendary Tales, Blade and Sorcery, and also the spelunking title Crave. Now, if you've never tried Legendary Tales, it is one of my absolute favorite VR co-op RPG games, and two of the aspects that really make it shine is the physics-based combat and the massive character customization system. Now, Urban Wolf Games has been pumping out updates and DLC to this title for years now, but the latest update is introducing a new sandbox and friendly fire modes. Now, the sandbox is there for you to freely test out different builds and weapon loadouts. Now, this is an absolutely great addition because LT's customization system is massive, and it's great to have a section where you could freely experiment. And that new friendly fire mode is sort of like adding gentle PvP into the game, and if nothing else, it's at least good for a few laughs. And not to be outdone, Blade and Sorcery just dropped version 1.3, and the latest car tip update includes a massive new level, new weapons and armor, the introduction of bombs, 10 dungeon rooms have been converted into arena maps, and there's a massive slew of additional updates. So for any reason you stopped playing Blade and Sorcery, now is the perfect time to jump back in. And speaking of jumping back in, if you're a fan of Crave and are looking for more content, the Tham Luang update is now available. This is a real-life cave system that has been digitally recreated, and you could jump in and explore with your buddies right now. Now, I've played this title in the past, and while it's not my go-to style of game, I thought it was really cool and an easy recommendation for those who enjoy highly immersive VR experiences. And now our final software update isn't for a game, but rather an application that most gamers are very familiar with, and that is Discord. This common voice chat application is now officially available on the Meta Quest, and it even allows for streaming, but it's currently pretty rough. Regardless, anything is a step up from using Meta's built-in chat system. And now, before we get to today's main topic, we have one piece of hardware news, and that's Bhaptics releasing a new version of their Tactgloves. Now, this latest version promises 0 dead zones and increased sensation with 2 additional motors. Now, if you'd like me to cover these gloves, please let me know down in the comments. The Tactgloves are the only Bhaptics equipment that I don't personally own, but when I did test them last year, I really enjoyed the added feedback. Now, I'm still not sure if enough games support it to make it worth the purchase, but I definitely want to check it out. And last up in today's news, I just want to have a little heart-to-heart with you guys. Okay, so let's finish this video with what I promised, a heart-to-heart for what's going on in VR. Like I said early in this video, 2026 has probably been the worst year for VR yet. I know that's maybe a little hyperbole. If you go all the way back to the early days, the 2017, the 2018, it was an absolute desert or graveyard. There was just nothing. Multiplayer games did exist, but no one was online. You had to coordinate with people on Discord. It was rough, so things are a lot better, but we have to admit 2026 across the board has not been a great year economically for the VR gamer or just gamers in general. We know what's going on with data centers. We know what's going on with RAM. I'm starting to sound like a broken record with this stuff, but the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because when I have a video and I try to remain positive, I'll get comments that this guy's full of crap. He's lying to himself. This is hopium. This is copium. And then when I have videos where I talk to you guys honestly about what's going on in the industry and how I feel and how I'm so upset to see all these studios shut down, well, then people are like, I'm sick of hearing all the negative stuff. I just want the positive stuff. Listen, the positive stuff is there. If you want to enjoy VR, there is so much to enjoy. And I do a series of videos letting you guys know the stuff you might have missed, the stuff that's still out there, the fact that we don't have to look to the future like what's the next best game coming. We don't have to sit and wait. I guarantee no one, even the biggest VR enthusiasts, have tried everything amazing that VR has to offer. That's why I'm trying to break into new areas. I'm going to bring down my VR treadmill. My catwalk's coming down here soon, and I started the sim racing, and I'm doing a bunch more. But I will say this year, especially lately, has been just dragging me down, killing me. There was a point where it felt like sky was the limit for VR, and right now it feels like VR is probably worse off than it's almost ever been. I know that's not the case. I know that's not true. There's tens of millions of VR headsets out there. You know, there's millions of PC VR gamers, millions of, you know, tens of millions of mobile VR gamers. And like I said, I don't think this will ever die. This is just the latest, newest slump we're dealing with, and it's rough, guys. I was hoping that right now, like earlier in this year, the Steam frame would have released. Everyone would have been pumped. We'd be having a beta of our game out for you guys to get in, start experiencing the early content, and then growing the game out with you guys. But that's not where we are, because things kind of went south across the board. There's not a lot of money in the industry, and I'm not pushing to spend money in the industry right now when it's so uncertain. So we'll let things come back around. I'll give you guys another updated video of things you should be checking out in VR that you probably haven't checked out yet. Another best of list coming soon. And that's it, guys. I would love to hear your feedback down in the comments. I'm going to keep supporting VR no matter what. Even when I'm at my lowest, my saddest, you know, most depressed about VR, I'm still going to be here cheerleading it, but also being real with you guys. I hope you appreciate that and enjoy it. If you do, thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.